Newcastle United are going into a very crucial transfer window. This transfer window can be the difference between the club potentially getting European football, maybe just a top 10 finish, or could see no improvement and finish bottom half. So here is a deep dive into what Newcastle should do this transfer window, including what to do with end of contracts, sales, purchases, and the final first team squad. For end of contract players, they should handle it as follows. Matt Targett may be flourishing in the Eddie Howe system. However, if I was Newcastle's board, I would look towards getting someone younger and with much higher potential than Targett, and someone that will end up being cheaper as well most likely. The second player is Fabian Schar. Although I believe Fabian Schar would leave this summer on his own accord, if I was Newcastle, I would re-sign him to a 1 to 2 year extension to allow him to be your third center back next season. The next player is Paul Dummatt. Paul Dummatt for me is an obvious decision. Let him walk. The final end of contract is Sean Longstaff. I believe Longstaff is a player that should also receive a 1 to 2 year extension if he is willing to stay as a solid depth piece. Here are the players that Newcastle should move on from this summer. The first player is Ciaran Clark. He is a very obvious player to sell for whatever you could possibly get because he is clearly not a Premier League level player, and his contract will expire next summer either way. I believe Newcastle could probably get £1 million for him this summer. The second player is Federico Fernandez. He is in exactly the same position as Clark. He is not good enough for this team anymore. His contract runs out in the summer of 23, so it is time to sell him. I think he will be sold for £1 million as well. The third player is Jamal Lewis. He has clearly not been a success for this club and should probably move to a top championship club to hopefully regain his confidence and talent, and I see him being sold for around £8 million. The fourth player is Emil Krafth. He is another player very similar to Clark's situation, but he is probably talented enough to be at a bottom of the league type club. However, I also think Newcastle would get more money as they would get £2 million for him this summer. The fifth player is Hayden. He needs to move on to better pastures as he needs playtime at this point in his career. Newcastle should get around £10 million for him this summer. The sixth player is Miguel Almiron. Miguel Almiron is a player that also needs to move on, maybe even back to the MLS where he experienced great success, or go somewhere else in Europe. I think Newcastle will get around £15 million this summer for Almiron. The seventh player is Dwight Gayle. Dwight Gayle has been nothing short of underwhelming ever since joining Newcastle after his amazing couple of seasons in the Championship. It is time for him to move on, and I see him being sold for £1 million as well. The eighth player is Karl Darlow. He should also be sold for Newcastle as they will bring in a new keeper. I see him being sold for £2 million. After these sales, here are the needs that they will have going into the summer window. Firstly, they will need a starting left back, preferably younger with loads of potential. Next, a starting right-sided center back to play next to Dan Burn. Next, a defensively solid and good passing number 6. Then they also need a left-footed right-sided winger. And finally, they need a modern goalkeeper. For the left back position, I see 3 possible candidates for this position with Tyreek Mitchell, Aaron Hickey, and Owen Windall. I believe that out of these options, the best pick for Eddie Howe's system is to bring in Aaron Hickey, the 19-year-old Scottish left back currently playing for Bologna. Aaron Hickey is a young and exciting Scottish left back coming up the ranks, and if he can become anything like his 2 potential Scottish left back teammates in Andrew Robertson and Kieran Tierney, Newcastle should be trying to bring him in quickly. At 19 years old, he is a player that has gotten loads of playtime for his age with 66 first-team appearances already. He has been a key player already for his club, and this is very impressive for his age. His attributes are what teams covet from their left backs. He is a player that is tenacious and very hard-working, and will run up and down the pitch throughout the match. He has the ability to play great crosses into the box for his teammates and attack defenses on the dribble, as well, and is average defensively where he needs to see the most improvement. This season he has been more of a wingback as Bologna play in a back 3, but he has the ability to play in a back 4 as well. Regardless, the potential that he possesses has to interest Newcastle, so I have them buying him for £15 million this summer. For the right-sided center-back position, I see 3 possible candidates, with Joe Gomez, Nikola Milenkovic, and Maxence Lacroix. I believe the best option out of these is Joe Gomez, the 24-year-old English center-back playing for Liverpool. Joe Gomez at his best and healthiest has been a top 5 center-half in the Premier League. However, his past 2 seasons have been rough for him, as he has been injured for lots of it and is struggling now to get playtime being 4th choice at Liverpool. It's time for him to move on, if he wants to ever receive English national team playtime. Joe is excellent on the ball and has great recovery pace, which are his best 2 attributes. He is also an average ground defender and does struggle in the air defensively. That's why if you put him next to a great defensive rock and aerial defender, it will really suit him. as that's why he is perfect next to Dan Burn. He is also still quite young. At 24, he has loads of growth left in his game before he reaches his peak, so he could become even better than he already is. I have him costing Newcastle around £30 million to bring to Northern England this summer. For the defensive midfielder position, I see 4 possible options, with Ibrahim Sangare, Mohamed Kamara, Boubacar Kamara, and Edson Alvarez. I believe the best option out of these is Boubacar Kamara, the 22-year-old French defensive midfielder currently playing for Marseille. Kamara is one of the many young and exciting defensive midfield prospects popping up around Europe, and I think he is the best option due to his price. He'll be free this summer, and with him looking for a decent wage package, Newcastle will be the club willing to give him that. He's a player that could slot right into that 6th position for Howe that Shelvey currently holds, and he could protect the back line as he is a good defender, but he can also help the team play possession out from the back as he is great at finding space and rotating possession. He is a young man that has loads of experience in the French league, and even in the Champions League, which is very useful. He will slot into the 6, allowing for Bruno Guimaraes and Joe Linton more freedom to push forward, making Newcastle even more dangerous than before. He'll be free to bring to Newcastle this summer, making this a very solid move. For the left-footed right-winger position, I see 3 possible options with Leon Bailey, Domenico Berardi, and Rayon Cherki. I believe the best option out of these is Leon Bailey, the 24-year-old Jamaican right-winger currently playing for Aston Villa. Leon Bailey right now is in a situation that does not fit him. Steven Gerrard at Villa wants wingers that are more like inverted attacking midfielders than inverted wingers. This is why Coutinho is thriving in his system and Bailey is severely struggling. So Newcastle should jump on this opportunity to bring a solid goal-scoring and attacking threat that gives a club a very direct attacking threat. Bailey is a player that wants to receive possession wide, attack players with his amazing dribbling ability, and look to cross balls back into the box or cut inside the shoot. His playstyle is very reminiscent of Mohamed Salah. This would be a massive improvement on Ryan Fraser on that right wing position. He is a willing and good presser as well, which will fit Eddie Howe's current system he's playing. This would be a great move that I have costing around £25 million this summer. For the modern keeper, I see 2 possible options with Justin Bijlau and Bartlomiej Dragowski. I believe the best option out of these is Dragowski, the 24-year-old Polish keeper playing for Fiorentina. Dragowski is an up-and-coming goalkeeper that has loads of potential and has shown flashes of being a very good modern goalkeeper. This season with Fiorentina, he has struggled with his injury issues, which has limited his playtime. However, in that limited playtime, he has better sweeping and corner-stopping stats than Alisson Becker, arguably the best keeper in the world. If Newcastle wants to move towards a more modern approach to football, keeper is the first starting point, and Dragowski should be that player. I have him costing around £10 million to bring to Newcastle this summer. The full final transfer window would go as follows. Departures will be Matt Targett, Paul Dummatt, Kieran Clark, Federico Fernandez, Jamal Lewis, Emil Krafth, Isaac Hayden, Miguel Almiron, Dwight Gayle, and Karl Darlow for a total of £40 million. The arrivals would include Aaron Hickey, Joe Gomez, Boubacar Kamara, Leon Bailey, and Bartlomiej Dragowski for a total spending amount of £80 million, giving a net spend of £40 million this summer. Therefore, the final first-team squad would go as follows. Dragowski and Dubravka as keepers, Hickey and Ritchie as left-backs, Byrne, Gomez, Schar, and Lascelles as center-backs, Trippier and Manquillo as right-backs, Kamara and Shelvey as defensive midfielders, Guimaraes, Joe Linton, Willock, and Longstaff as central midfielders, Saint-Maximin and Fraser as left wingers, Bailey and Murphy as right wingers, and Wilson and Wood as strikers. This would be a much improved squad that will allow them to potentially finish top half next season.